8 festivals, 1 eternal cycle. Discover how the Wheel of the Year connects you to nature and the cosmos. Welcome, Revs of the Arcane, to the Dark Primordial. I am your host, Ken Schroer, and it bears mentioning that the Wheel of the Year is far more than a calendar. It's a gateway to a deeper understanding of nature, spirituality, and the eternal cycles of life. Rooted in ancient pagan traditions, this sacred framework weaves together the changing seasons, celestial events, and human experience. It's not just a way to mark time. It's a path to align with the rhythms of the earth and explore the profound connections between humanity and the cosmos. Across 8 Sabbats, from the dark mysteries of Samhain to the vibrant energies of Beltane, the wheel tells a story of life, death, and renewal. Each festival carries rich traditions, ancient wisdom, and modern interpretations, offering practitioners opportunities for reflection, celebration, and spiritual growth. So light your incense, grab your favorite snack, and join me as we explore the deeply spiritual and syncretic nature of the wheel, from Yule to Yore. The Wheel of the Year, as practiced today, is a modern synthesis of older pagan traditions, primarily drawn from Celtic and Germanic cultures. Popularized by figures like Gerald Gardner, during the 25th century revival of witchcraft, it intertwines agricultural cycles, celestial events, and mythological narratives. The 8 Sabbats divide into 4 greater festivals: Samhain, Imbolc, Beltane, and Luna Sod, and 4 lesser festivals aligned with solstices and equinoxes. Together, they create a cyclical framework, symbolizing the eternal dance of light and darkness, growth and rest, and life and death. As we begin our journey through the Wheel of the Year, we encounter Samhain, a festival steeped in Celtic lore and shrouded in the mists of antiquity. The word Samhain itself is derived from the Old Irish language, roughly translating to summer's end. This etymology provides our first clue to the festival's agricultural roots, marking the conclusion of the harvest season and the beginning of the Celtic New Year. In the ancient Celtic world, Samhain was a time of profound significance. The Celts, like many agricultural societies, divided their year into 2 primary seasons, the light half and the dark half. Samhain marked the critical transition between these 2 periods, a liminal time when the boundaries between the mundane and the supernatural were believed to blur. The historical record provides us with tantalizing glimpses of how Samhain was observed in pre-Christian Celtic societies. The 10th century CE Irish text Tochmarc Emire describes Samhain as one of the 4 major festivals of the Celtic year, alongside Imbolc, Beltane, and Lunasad. Archaeological evidence from sites like the Navan Fort in Ireland suggests that large gatherings and feasts were common during this time. One of the most enduring aspects of Samhain is its association with the dead. In Celtic belief, the veil between the world of the living and the realm of the dead was at its thinnest during this time. This concept is reflected in various folkloric traditions that persisted long after the Christianization of Celtic lands. For instance, the Scottish tradition of Samhain protecting homes and livestock against supernatural forces during Samhain night continued well into the 19th century. Samhain retains its profound spiritual significance. Many modern witches view this time as ideal for divination practices, such as tarot reading or scrying. The thinning of the veil is seen as an opportunity to communicate with ancestors and departed loved ones. Rituals often involve setting up ancestor altars adorned with photographs, heirlooms, and offerings to honor the dead. As we progress through the Wheel of the Year, we arrive at Yule, the winter solstice celebration that marks the longest night and the gradual return of the sun. The observance of the winter solstice is one of the oldest known holidays in human history, with archaeological evidence suggesting that Neolithic people held this time as sacred. The term Yule itself has Germanic origins, derived from the Old Norse Jol, which later evolved into the Anglo-Saxon Jael. This linguistic journey reflects the festival's deep roots in Northern European tradition. However, solstice celebrations were not limited to this region. Cultures worldwide, from the Roman Saturnalia to the Persian Yalda, have long marked this astronomical event. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence for the ancient observance of the winter solstice comes from Neolithic monuments, such as Newgrange in Ireland and Maeshowe in Scotland. These structures, built around 3200 BCE, are aligned so that the rising sun on the winter solstice illuminates their inner chambers. This architectural feat demonstrates not only the astronomical knowledge of our ancestors, but also the profound spiritual significance they attach to this celestial event. In Norse mythology, Yule was associated with the wild hunt, a supernatural procession led by the god Odin. This mythological event was believed to coincide with the winter solstice, a time when the boundaries between worlds were thought to be more permeable. The concept of liminality at Yule, much like at Samhain, underscores the recurring theme of threshold times in pagan tradition. Yule represents a time of rebirth and renewal. The gradual lengthening of days following the solstice is seen as a metaphor for the triumph of light over darkness, often interpreted both literally and metaphorically. Many contemporary rituals focus on setting intentions for the coming year, much like secular New Year's resolutions. The symbolism of evergreen plants plays a significant role in many Yule celebrations. The use of holly, ivy, and pine not only connects to ancient traditions, but also serves as a powerful reminder of life's persistence, even in the depths of winter. Some practitioners create Yule altars adorned with these plants, along with candles, to represent the returning sun. As we continue our journey through the Wheel of the Year, we arrive at Imbolc, a festival that marks the first stirrings of spring amidst the lingering cold of winter. The name Imbolc is derived from the Old Irish Imbolg, meaning in the belly, a reference to the pregnancy of ewes at this time of year. This etymology provides a window into the festival's agricultural roots and its connection to fertility and new beginnings. Imbolc is one of the four major Irish Celtic fire festivals, alongside Beltane, Lugnasad, and Samhain. Its observance can be traced back to pre-Christian Ireland, where it was closely associated with the goddess Brigid. This powerful deity, later syncretized with the Christian saint Brigid, embodied the triple aspects of poetry, healing, and smithcraft. The historical record provides us with intriguing glimpses of how Imbolc was celebrated in ancient times. The 10th century Sea Irish text to Carmarthy Meyer mentions Imbolc as one of the four major divisions of the year. Archaeological evidence, such as the alignment of certain Neolithic monuments with the rising sun on Imbolc morning, further attests to the festival's antiquity and importance. One of the most enduring customs associated with Imbolc is the creation of Brigid's crosses. These woven crosses, traditionally made from rushes or straw, were believed to protect homes from fire and evil. The practice of creating these crosses has continued into modern times, both as a folk custom and as part of neo-pagan observance. The theme of emerging light is central to many Imbolc celebrations. Candle rituals are common, with practitioners often performing ceremonies to welcome the increasing daylight and to set intentions for the coming spring. Some traditions involve lighting candles in each room of the house to banish winter's darkness and invite the warmth of the coming season. As we progress further along the Wheel of the Year, we encounter Ostara, the celebration of the spring equinox. This festival marks the point of balance between day and night, heralding the season of growth and renewal. The name Ostara is derived from the Germanic goddess Eostra, a deity associated with dawn, spring, and fertility. The concept of celebrating the spring equinox is ancient and widespread, with evidence of such observances found in numerous cultures across the globe. From the Persian New Year of Nowruz to the Mayan rituals at Chichen Itza, the equinox has long been recognized as a significant astronomical and spiritual event. In the context of Germanic paganism, our knowledge of Eostre and her associated festival comes primarily from the writings of the 8th century English monk Bede. In his work, De Temporum Ration, Bede mentions that the month of April was known as Eostremanet, Eostre's month in Old English, named after the goddess to whom feasts were celebrated during that time. Ostra represents a time of balance and new beginnings. Many modern rituals focus on the themes of growth, renewal, and the awakening of nature. Seed planting ceremonies are common both as literal gardening practices and as metaphorical representations of nurturing new ideas or projects. The concept of balance, as represented by the equal length of day and night at the equinox, is often central to Ostara celebration. Some practitioners use this time for introspection and seeking harmony in their lives. Rituals might involve meditation on duality and the integration of opposing forces. As we approach the midpoint of our journey through the Wheel of the Year, we arrive at Beltane, the festival of fire, fertility, and the full blossoming of spring. Traditionally celebrated on May 1st, Beltane marks the beginning of the pastoral summer season, when livestock were driven out to the summer pastures. The etymology of Beltane is subject to some debate among scholars. One interpretation suggests it derives from the Old Irish Beltane, meaning bright fire. Another theory posits a connection to the Celtic god Belenus, whose name is associated with light, and whose festival may have been celebrated around this time. Historical evidence for Beltane celebrations comes from various sources. In Irish mythology, the festival is mentioned in texts such as the Sanas Cormaig, a 9th century glossary, which describes it as a time when druids would drive cattle between two fires for purification and protection. This practice of driving livestock between bonfires persisted in parts of Ireland and Scotland well into the modern era, demonstrating the longevity of certain Beltane customs. The concept of Beltane as a fire festival is central to its historical observance. The lighting of bonfires was a crucial aspect of the celebration, with the flames believed to have protective and purifying properties. In some traditions, all household fires would be extinguished and then relit from the Beltane bonfire, symbolizing community unity and the distribution of the fire's protective power. The maypole dance, often associated with Beltane celebrations, has its roots in medieval European folk customs. The intertwining ribbons of the dance symbolize the union of masculine and feminine energies, reflecting the festival's themes of fertility and union. While the direct connection between maypole traditions and pre-Christian Beltane celebrations is debated, the symbolic resonance is clear. Beltane remains a significant festival of joy, passion, and union. Modern observances often incorporate elements of historical traditions while adapting them to current spiritual needs. Fire remains a central element, with many groups holding bonfires or fire rituals to honor the increasing strength of the sun and to symbolize purification and passion. As we reach the zenith of the solar year, we encounter Litha, the celebration of the summer solstice. This festival marks the longest day of the year, when the sun's power is at its peak. The term Litha comes from the Anglo-Saxon tradition, mentioned in Bede's De Temporum Ratione as the name for both June and July. The observation of the summer solstice dates back to prehistoric times, with archaeological evidence suggesting its importance to ancient cultures worldwide. Structures like Stonehenge in England and Karnak in Egypt demonstrate sophisticated astronomical knowledge used to track the sun's movement and mark this significant point in the solar year. In many European pre-Christian traditions, the summer solstice was a time of great celebration. The Norse celebrated midsummer with bonfires, while Slavic cultures held the festival of Kupala, which involved fire jumping and water rituals. These customs reflect common themes of purification, fertility, and honoring the sun's power. Litha is often seen as a time when the veil between worlds thins once again, making it ideal for communicating with nature spirits and fairies. Many traditions hold that this is when the Oak King, representing the waxing year, is overthrown by the Holly King of the waning year, symbolizing the sun's decline after the solstice. Modern Litha celebrations often involve bonfires, sun wheels, and rituals honoring the elements, particularly fire. Some practitioners use this time for solar magic, charging crystals in the sunlight, or performing healing rituals. The abundant flowers and herbs of midsummer also play a significant role in many celebrations. As the wheel turns, we arrive at Lughnasadh, the first of the three harvest festivals in the Celtic tradition. Named after the Irish god Lugh, this festival marks the beginning of the harvest season and the transition from summer to autumn. Historical evidence for Lunasad comes from various Irish medieval texts, which describe it as a time of gatherings, feasts, and athletic contests. The festival is named in honor of Lu's foster mother, Tailtu, who was said to have died of exhaustion after clearing the plains of Ireland for agriculture. Traditionally, Lunasad was a time for hand-fasting ceremonies, a form of trial marriage that lasted a year and a day. It was also associated with the first fruits of the harvest, particularly grains and berries. The baking of bread from the first grains was a significant ritual, symbolizing the fruits of the earth and human labor. Lunasad, often called Lamas in some traditions, is a time to celebrate abundance and give thanks for the harvest. Many incorporate bread making into their rituals, seeing it as a symbolic way to honor the earth's bounty. Crafting corn dollies, a traditional folk art representing the spirit of the grain, is another common practice. This festival offers an opportunity for reflection on personal growth and achievements. Many use this time to take stock of their progress towards goals set earlier in the year and to begin preparing for the introspective autumn season ahead. Our journey through the Wheel of the Year brings us to Mabon, the autumn equinox celebration. Named after a figure from Welsh mythology, Mabon is a modern pagan name for this festival of balance and thanksgiving. The autumn equinox has been marked by cultures worldwide for millennia, often associated with harvest celebrations. The ancient Greeks celebrated the Eleusinian mysteries at this time, while in China the Mid-Autumn Festival has long been observed. For contemporary pagans and witches, Mabon is a time of giving thanks for the year's bounty and finding balance as day and night stand equal. It's the second of the 3 harvest festivals, focusing on gathering the late crops and preparing for winter. Rituals often involve creating altars with symbols of the harvest, performing gratitude ceremonies, and working magic for balance and harmony. Many practitioners use this time for canning and preserving foods, seeing this as a magical act of storing summer's energies for the winter ahead. From an academic perspective, Mabon provides an interesting case study in the creation of modern pagan tradition. While the equinox itself has long been celebrated, the name and specific customs associated with Mabon are largely modern inventions, demonstrating how contemporary practitioners adapt and create new traditions to meet their spiritual needs. In addition to the 8 Sabbats, most modern Wiccans and many other pagan traditions celebrate Sabbats, which are typically aligned with the phases of the moon, particularly the full moon. The term Sabbats is believed to derive from the Old French "esbatter," meaning to frolic or to amuse oneself. Sabbats are often times for coven meetings, performing magic, and honoring lunar deities. The energy of the full moon is seen as particularly potent for magical workings, especially those related to increase, growth, or culmination. Many witches use this time for charging magical tools, performing divination, or working healing magic. The practice of drawing down the moon, where the lunar goddess is invoked to possess or inspire a priestess, is a significant ritual in many Wiccan traditions, often performed during Sabbats. This practice underscores the importance of the divine feminine in many modern pagan traditions. As we've seen, the Wheel of the Year weaves ancient wisdom into a modern tapestry of spirituality. Its festivals honor the cycles of nature and provide a framework for reflection, growth, and connection. Through the wheel, modern practitioners can align with the rhythms of the earth, finding meaning in life's eternal cycle of light and darkness, growth and rest. If you found this video enlightening, please like, subscribe, and share with others who might be interested in unfurling the rich and complicated tapestry of pagan traditions throughout the ages. Also, consider supporting the Dark Primordial by visiting our Etsy and Shopify stores. There you'll find a curated selection of handcrafted witchcraft and pagan accessories to enhance your own spiritual practice. From hand-poured candles to intricately painted talismans, each item is imbued with intention and power. Until next time, may you become one with your own abyss.